Yeah, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes & Co.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christys.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Feast. Now, have you ever seen a wedding reception for a woman who's married a cat? Well, stay tuned, because that's exactly what's going to happen this evening, right here before your very eyes. I must say I'm bang up for it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a cracking show lined up for you all the way through until 9 o'clock. So grab yourself a drink. Why not grab some nuts as well, if that's the way that you feel. Settle back in for the next 2 hours and let us ease you into the bank holiday weekend with some topical debate, plenty of laughs, and, of course, all our regular features. This week's Challenge Christys is an absolute firecracker as I fulfil a lifelong ambition. I feel the need for speed. And usually we have a dog of the week, but basically what we're doing this week is dogs plural. Why not? Why only have one when you could have two? Because I'll be talking to Sharon Toberham, who has fostered more than 100 dogs down the years. We're going to try and go for the group rehome this time, ladies and gentlemen. OK. I'll also read out some of the emails that my loyal viewers have sent me this week in Post-Person Pat, and it's fair to say they're not very complimentary, actually, all of them. That's all on the way between now and 9 o'clock. But first, it's the latest headlines brought to you by Simon Pusey.
Thanks, Patrick. I'm Simon Pusey in the GB newsroom. Senior Labour MP Harriet Harman has called on Neil Parish to stand down following news he's being investigated for allegedly watching pornography in the House of Commons. A spokeswoman for the Tory Chief Whip confirmed he's had the Conservative Whip suspended pending the outcome of that investigation. Neil Parish said he'll continue to perform his duties as an MP. He's reported himself to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. Mr Parish was on GB News just 2 days ago. This is what he told us about the incident then.
I mean, I think the Whip's office will do a thorough investigation and we will wait and see that result. And I think, from that, then the decision will have to be made what action to be taken.
The former Wimbledon champion Boris Becker has been sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison after being found guilty of flouting the terms of his 2017 bankruptcy. The former world #1 tennis player was accused of hiding £2.5 million worth of assets and loans to avoid paying his debts. 2 British charity workers reportedly captured by the Russian military in Ukraine have been named as Paul Urey and Dylan Healy. It's understood the volunteers were detained earlier this week at a checkpoint in the south of the country. The 2 men, both civilians, were working as part of a joint humanitarian project helping evacuation efforts. The reports haven't yet been independently verified.
On Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday evening, sorry, I got a call and messages from contacts of theirs back in England saying that they are missing, and we believe we know where they are and that they've been taken by Russians. We have had contact with the lady that they were evacuating south of Zaporozhye, and we've had a statement from her to say actually 3 hours after they're supposed to get there on Monday that the Russian soldiers were interrogating her and her family about these 2 British guys that they picked up.
Meanwhile, the UK is sending experts to Ukraine to help investigate any potential Russian war crimes. The Foreign Secretary's announcement follows the deaths of a British military veteran in Ukraine this week. Liz Truss says a team of investigators will arrive in neighbouring Poland early next month with the aim to help prosecute Moscow.
We want to see justice done for the people of Ukraine. We've seen appalling war crimes committed, the use of rape and sexual violence. We will be sending in a British evidence collecting team, working with the Ukrainian authorities, working with the ICC. We've been talking today about the urgency of making sure justice is done, and that also we call out rape as a use of weapon in war.
Liz Truss there. Now, the Labour leader has said it makes absolutely no difference whether Deputy Angela Rayner was present when he was pictured drinking beer during lockdown. Sir Keir Starmer says there's a stark contrast between the gathering in a Durham office in April last year and what he calls the rule-breaking in Downing Street that Boris Johnson has been fined for. Tory MPs have asked police to reconsider their decision not to investigate the event. TV, online and DAB+ radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Farage.
Yes, Nigel Farage has got much better looking, hasn't he? Tonight on Friday Night Feast, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the best one yet. We're doing the absolute lot of it. Total carnage, total madness, but we're starting as we mean to go on. So let's get cracking, OK? Vladimir Putin might have a rather large nuclear deterrent, but that's nothing compared to our deterrent. Rwanda. Goodness gracious me, it's only gone and bloody worked, hasn't it? There have been no Channel migrant crossings in 9 days. This can't only be down to wind direction or offshore conditions. After all, we had arrivals coming all across winter, didn't we? No. This is down to the threat of being deported to Africa. And it's not often that you'll hear me say this, people, but I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the BBC and the lefty media like The Guardian, etc., because their lazy, outdated and frankly xenophobic statements about Rwanda have done the government's job for them. They've made this country seem like the most unappealing place in the world. And I find it hilarious that the government could announce this scheme. Channel migrants didn't seem to believe Boris and Priti would actually send them to Africa. But then all you have to do is go over there to Calais and show this lot one BBC article about Rwanda, and all of a sudden they're looking at return flights to Syria. Credit where's credit's due. The BBC might not report on the unrelenting grooming gang scandals that appear to be taking place in every major town and city in the UK, where predominantly anyway, British, Pakistani and South Asian men treat vulnerable, young, working class, mostly white girls as sexual playthings. No, of course. That's not the right kind of misogyny, is it, for the BBC? It's fair to say that, given the choice between defending the rights of young girls or potentially offending an ethnic group, they'd rather not offend an ethnic group. Although, you know, the BBC's track record of keeping young women safe is a little bit dodgy, to say the least, but we don't need to go into that, do we? The BBC may not think Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer's big night out in Durham is worth reporting. If Boris Johnson had personally kicked the door down to a burning orphanage and rescued 20 parentless infants from the inferno, the BBC would probably have still slated him for not wearing a mask. But Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer can essentially go on a possible COVID-spreading tour to the northeast, attend an event literally described as a social gathering, and then lie about it, so basically do something worse than Partygate, and they won't bother covering it. But I'll tell you what, that hit job they've done on Rwanda has worked an absolute treat. Arsenal Football Club have Visit Rwanda on their shirts, but the BBC and The Guardian basically slapped a don't in front of that and painted it across the White Cliffs of Dover. Ironically, in doing so, they've helped to improve the quality of life for many people living in Great Britain. Social housing stock, more in need than ever before as a result of the pandemic and the economic crisis, needs to be used for people already living here, in my opinion. We have enough of them in desperate, dire need. Does it ever feel to you, like other news outlets, frankly, every other news outlet really, is more focused on telling Brits what to think instead of taking the time to learn what Brits think. They often seem to be focused on appealing to a foreign audience, dare I say it, or frankly, maybe to some foreign people. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Why is it that they feel the need to pussyfoot around the grooming gang issue? Why is it that other media outlets feel the need to lie about the true extent of illegal economic immigration into the UK? Why is it that despite the fact that most of the British population is pretty sound, I think, they feel the need to focus on all the woke issues? Well, I tell you what, you won't get that here and you won't get that from me, OK? I started this piece by talking about the channel, didn't I? And I'd like to finish by talking about another type of channel. This TV channel. Here at GB News, we are the channel for you. We are the people's channel. We are a channel for Britain. Why? Because TV starts at home, ladies and gents. Right, OK, get in touch. gbviews@gbnews.uk. Don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen, but the top story today is Neil Parish, OK? Who, I know, yes, yet another politician who's not a household name in his own home. But anyway, he's been named as the Conservative MP who's been accused of watching pornography in the House of Commons. Yes, what a... No, you can't say that, can you? But incredibly, Parish, who's been suspended by the Conservative Parliamentary Party and is under investigation by Parliament's Standards Commissioner, spoke to GB News' political editor Darren McCaffrey about this story just a couple of days ago. See what he says.
I mean, I think the Whip's office will do a thorough investigation and we will wait and see that result. And I think, you know, from that, then the decision will have to be made what action to be taken.
Yes, indeed. It turns out that there are a few wrong uns, doesn't it, Mr Parish? Anyway, what on earth is happening at Westminster? Neil Parish has been accused of watching porn and, far more seriously, Green Party MP Caroline Lucas pointed out on Wednesday that, get this, 56 MPs are currently under investigation for alleged sexual misconduct. That's almost 9% of the 650 members of Parliament. So what I'm asking this evening, and I don't think anyone else has, for want of a better phrase, got the balls to do it as well, are our politicians perverts? Does power lead to perverse behaviour? Let's find out. We are going to get more on this very shortly by psychologist Dr. Jane McCartney, I believe. But tonight on my panel, I am delighted to welcome, for the very first time into the fray, journalist and author Harriet Sargent. Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thrilled to be here.
Good, fantastic. Well, also, a regular, yes, there we go, is Vanity Von Clo, who hosts the Vanity Project podcast. Right, OK, look, I'll start with you, if that's all right, because my understanding is that you, Harriet, maybe have spoken about this kind of stuff before, misogyny in Parliament. I want to know whether or not a disproportionate number of our politicians are essentially sexual deviants.
Well, I have to say that I have, as a journalist, always found it a huge asset being a woman. I've always had men being incredibly kind and supportive. I've lived in Africa and the Far East, never had any problem. And the only time I have had a nasty incident was in central London from an MP who grabbed... I won't go into details, but it wasn't very nice at all. And I never forgotten the look of glee on his face.
Oh, my gosh.
And I suddenly realised that this is not... It wasn't about me. I like to think everything's about me, but it wasn't about me. It wasn't even about sex. It was about him getting off on my reaction, on my shock and horror.
Yes, and they thrived off that. Very quickly, just to bring you into the fray here, do you think power corrupts? Do you think they like the power?
I think probably. And whether or not our parliamentarians are perverts is a hilarious question to consider.
I want to know if he's disproportionate.
But there is something about the culture in Westminster I've noticed. Right. I think I might be the first drag queen to have ever been in the actual halls of Westminster, by the way.
Goodness me.
Yeah, a few years ago.
Can I ask why, or we're not allowed to talk about it?
No, it was for some LGBT event.
Oh, good.
And I swanned around in a gown and, you know, tried to scuttle into the Commons.
But you weren't groped.
No, I wasn't. Alas, I was not groped.
You missed out.
But it's quite a boozy environment, and people, I don't think, realise that with, like, 4 parliamentary bars and everything, I think that there's quite an environment of letting your hair down.
Absolutely.
Which some individuals, I dare say, have taken too far.
100%. OK, now it's time for our esteemed psychologist, Dr. Jane McCartney, to get stuck right into the meat and bones of this issue. Dr. Jane, thank you very much. Please forgive me. I'm sorry if this seems a bit blunt, but... It seems like there's a disproportionate number of our politicians who are embroiled in some kind of sex-related scandal. Are politicians sexual deviants?
I think it would be a bit unfair to call all politicians sexual deviants, but what you do have is a job that attracts a certain type of personality. If you think about the job of a politician, whether that's a global, national, even a local politician, there's a certain cachet that goes with it. And of course, the type of people that are going to be attracted to that have a certain type of personality. Not all of them, it has to be said, not all of them, but a higher proportion than, say, you may find in a shop, say, for instance, my local Sainsbury's. That's a good, show of what normal people would be. You wouldn't get a lot of people that have, that kind of personality that is attracted to that.
So talk to me about that. Is it the power thing? Because let's be honest, 9% of the British population isn't under investigation for some kind of sexual misconduct thing. So it is more prevalent in the corridors of power.
I think so, yes, because I think people in politics historically have been protected. They've got up to all sorts of nefarious things and they've been protected. It's only when a big scandal comes out, such as Profumo, if we go back many years,
yes.
Bill Clinton, whatever.
Which was much more entertaining.
Yes, it's when a big scandal comes out and it can't be shoveled under the carpet. But I think they feel protected, as you say, and I've read a lot this week about this very boozy environment, as if that is an excuse. There's lots of boozy environments and there's not, porn watching and groping going on a industrial scale, which we're led to believe is happening in Parliament.
Exactly. What kind of man watches porn at work in full view of a public gallery, Dr. Jane?
Somebody that thinks that he's entitled to do so, and probably somebody that would have tested this out, would have perhaps sat on a train. Yeah, it's often sort of like, it's gateway, it's the level gateway that goes up to it. So I would have tested it out. I would have, I didn't get caught. And if somebody had said something, I've dealt with lots of people that have been arrested for sexual, misconduct on the tube, say, for instance. And they'll always say, it was my first offence. This was the first time I did this. But full well it isn't, because they've been trying it out all the time. And it's only when they get caught. And often it's the thrill of potentially being caught as well, which is an attraction to that type of, I'm not going to say crime, because it's obviously not a crime to watch porn, but that type of activity.
Well, there's another, I wonder, thrill of being caught, or certainly hiding something. Now, I clearly am not going to name any names whatsoever, and everyone is more than entitled to a private life, and very often it does turn out that the other half knows more about the sexual proclivities of the other chap in this case than many people would let on to. There are, and have been historically, a lot of MPs who've been, quotes unquotes, in the closet, as it were, many with wives and children. Is that a societal thing, i.e. they thought that they wouldn't be able to come out, in which case that's kind of our fault, right? Absolutely. Or is it this element of being caught or something hidden? What do you think?
I think there's a thrill attached to certain, attractions about certain sexual acts. But having said that, if somebody, through society, through politics, through thinking it's not going to be accepted, has to, remain private about their situation, which of course they're all perfectly entitled to do so. We've got to kind of balance it, obviously, between what people are like and what their personal life is like, and they're entitled to that, and ones that just take it that little bit further because they enjoy perhaps the chase. They enjoy seeing what they can get away with. There's plenty. I'm sure we can name plenty of people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are women in Parliament just as likely to be sexual wrong-uns as the blokes?
Well, you can't obviously say that women can't be sexual predators or sexual wrong-uns, as you say, but I should think the percentage of women in Parliament against the amount of people that are, you're talking about the 56, it would be minuscule, if at all. I think women struggle to get to that point, so they are far more likely to be far more careful about what they may get up to in their private lives. They're not going to sit on one of the green benches in full view of everybody else to be seen.
watching something rather fruity, it's fair to say. Dr. Jane, you're a revelation, you're a superstar. Thank you very much. You've kick-started this Friday night show expertly, and I'll have to have you back on. But I want to hear what you think about this issue. You can email me, gbviews@gbnews.uk. You can tweet me as well, @gbnews, and I'll read out a section of your comments throughout the evening. I'm going to be going to my panel shortly, but we've got to keep it moving for now, ladies and gents. This is the most action-packed chock-a-block show that we've ever done here on Friday Night Feast. So coming up next, it's our big debate this evening. Earlier today, I got your opinions on one of this week's top stories. I want to settle a debate once and for all, put it to bed so we can all move on with our lives. Let's have it. Yes, hello everybody, Patrick Christys here, back out and about for GB News. Right, now I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely flipping sick of Partygate. So I want to end it once and for all. I want to kill it stone dead, I want to knock it on the head, and we can all move on. Boris Johnson, bit of cake in a work meeting, bit of cheese and wine, OK? Keir Starmer, travelling up to Durham, saying he was doing some kind of work thing, then maybe a bit of a quiz and a social, some beers, potentially both of them have lied about it. I want to know right now who you think is worse. Who's done the worst thing? Who should resign over it? Let's just end this once and for all.
Boris, hands down.
Why?
Because it's just the fact he's our Prime Minister. I think at the end of the day, you're a figurehead, you're representing the whole country, you've got thousands of people dying.
OK.
That's enough.
But
that's enough.
set the laws.
Yeah, exactly. You're the one being a hypocrite.
Right.
No.
Boris I got a love for.
Yes, because I'm right.
So obviously the other one, no, I just respect what he's done for the country, of course. And
if you can't speak the truth and if you continue to be a hypocrite, then you're not worth voting for.
I think Boris is the worst, though, because he's in power and he has the sort of the leading hand. OK, they're both in the bad place at the moment with what's come out today, but I think, yeah, Boris being the main sort of leading front man of the government and the country at the moment, definitely it looks worse.
Partygate.
Why?
Well, you shouldn't have been having a party. Just tell the truth.
You should be in power.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, that's the views of the British public. But I'm not satisfied, ladies and gentlemen. There was no definitive winner there. Most people thought Boris has done wrong. Most people thought Keir had also done wrong. For most people, it wasn't the fact that they broke the rules, it was the lying about it. But that's not good enough for me. I want to move on from this once and for all. So when I come back from this very short advert break, we're going head to head. We're going toe to toe. We're putting this thing to bed, finally, forever, with two box office esteemed guests on this. What's worse, Partygate or Beergate? Let's have it.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christys.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you, or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
We're off to an absolute flyer here. Welcome back to Friday Night Feast. Now, it's time for our big debate. And this evening, it concerns Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer, both of whom stand accused of breaching COVID regulations. Now, the Prime Minister has already been fined by police for attending a birthday party during lockdown, and now the Leader of the Opposition is facing claims that he committed a similar offence. OK, so it's Partygate versus Beergate. Now, the only reason I care about Beergate is because the people doing Beergate made such a big deal about Partygate. Otherwise, I wouldn't care about either of them. But the question is, should the leaders of our two main parties actually resign? Should Boris go? Should Keir go? I want to know once and for all so we can all just put it to bed, shut up and move on forever and get on with the business of running this country. What's worse, Partygate or Beergate? OK? To discuss this, I'm joined now by the Conservative MP Michael Fabricant, the former Labour Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, and the former Tory MP and the current leader of UKIP in Wales, Neil Hamilton. Have you ever seen a better political rogues gallery? I'm only joking than this. Fantastic television this is going to be, guys. Great to have you on the show. Michael, I'll start with you, please, my good man. What's worse, Partygate or Beergate?
I want to know, first of all, before I even answer that, how Vanity, your guest, has got those glowing green eyes, because I want to do it in the chamber.
Well, well, we've had a few things done in the chamber recently, but I'm sure I'll get Vanity to get in touch with you afterwards, unless you want to tell him right now.
Well, it's a naturally secreting glitter, so I have no choice but to look this way.
Oh, fantastic! OK, right. Well, we're off to a good start there. Michael, come on then. Beergate, Partygate, where do you stand?
Yeah, I was going to say all my secretions are natural, so that's good news, but they don't glitter. Where do I stand on this? Well, look, actually, I think that if anyone has lied, and it's possible that Keir Starmer has lied, because he said that he hadn't, stayed for very long, and some excellent evidence that has come out over the last few days would suggest on a timeline that he may have misled the Durham police. If that's happened, and it's all big if, because we don't want to get sued, then I think he's got to resign, especially as he was Director of Public Prosecution. So if he can't tell the truth, that's outrageous. And why shouldn't Boris resign? Well, I'm not sure he's lied yet, because technically, I mean, did he actually attend a party?
Well, this is it. And this is the point, and there's an argument, isn't there? There's an argument, Michael, isn't there? We're squeezed for time, I want to get everyone in. There's an argument that what Keir Starmer's done is worse, and I'm going to come to you, Ken, if that's all right. Ken Livingstone, of course, former Mayor of London. There's an argument that Keir Starmer, driving to Durham, attending something that was actually advertised as a social, and then potentially lied about it, and Angela Rayner's involvement, is worse than what Boris Johnson did. What do you think?
Well, you look at these things, they're completely different. I mean, in Boris Johnson's 2 years in office, there were about a dozen parties in Downing Street, and he attended several of them. And that was a complete breach of all the laws his government had passed. And then Keir Starmer just happens to wander into something there's 2 or 3 people around. That just isn't the same thing.
I'm not sure that's really what happened there, is it? But, it does appear to be... It was advertised as, quote, a greasy night, Ken. So I think we can all agree that that's not just 2 or 3 people. Although, I don't know, maybe Keith Vaz would beg to differ. I'm going to go to you now, please, Neil. Neil Hamilton there, the UKIP leader in Wales. Partygate or Beergate, Neil?
Well, they both broke the rules. They're both hypocrites, but Keir Starmer's a sanctimonious hypocrite, so he gets my vote for having to go first.
Right, OK. Just stay with you, because that was very short and sweet, Neil, but I did like it. The brass neck on Keir Starmer, if it turns out that he has broken the rules and then lied about it, to sit there, stand there, look Boris in the eye, look us in the eye, and then all along he's done something worse, potentially.
Yeah, well, I think that's absolutely right. Keir Starmer wanted not just those rules, but he wanted much, much tighter rules. So he got to be held to a much higher standard, in my view, than Boris. We know that Boris is, generally speaking, disorganised and shambolic, and he may not have been aware that he was breaking any rules, as Michael said ago. But this is a strict liability offence. If the facts are proved you're guilty, it doesn't matter what your intentions were. So it's just like a speeding fine. So Personally, I don't think anybody should resign because the rules were massively flawed, and they're both responsible for making them. And we've got to keep it in perspective, in my view.
Neil.
It's of no great consequence.
We've got to keep it moving. I'm going to work back down the line. Michael, I will come to you shortly. I can see you're itching to get involved, but we're going to start with Big Red Can. Can, look, some people say that Boris Johnson is worse because he invented these rules, or he certainly enforced them. But you know what? Keir Starmer voted for them and, as Neil said, would have gone further with the rules, probably. So actually, he's just as to blame, isn't he, Ken? Ken Livingstone, are you there? Ken, all right? It's just... OK. Right, Michael, your views.
Well, I agree with actually what Neil said. And you know what? The civil servants, prime ministers never know the ruddy law anyway. It's the civil servants who advise all the time. And they will say, you can do this or you can't do that. It was the ruddy civil servants who were there anyway. So they clearly thought that the law wasn't be broken because it was a work environment. Now, I know it won't cut much ice with viewers, but, you know, it was a work environment. It was a bubble. I mean, if you collect by the cooler, the water cooler, to discuss, you know, a programme because you're having like 3 minutes break from work, is that called a party? I mean, you know, come on. So if the civil servants thought it was OK because they attended, and in fact they went to more parties, and it's very inverted commas, the old parties thing, then surely, you know, he was given the advice that it was perfectly legal.
OK.
By the way,
Ken, I believe you're back with us.
Like
Can you...
the earlier thing where you were talking to the psychologist and you were nodding sagely and saying, yes, you know about the bars. Now, who was the MP?
No, we don't need to go into that, Michael. We don't need to go into that. We split the bill and we agreed to part as friends. Now, Ken, can you hear me?
Well, I have to say, Boris Johnson is the most dishonest Prime Minister in my lifetime. I've never met anyone in my life who lies as much as he does. And no, I mean, well, I wasn't a great supporter of Tony Blair, but, I mean, literally, people stop me on the street and chat about, you know, politics and things. They all think Boris is dishonest, and I don't think anyone can deny that. His record has literally been chaotic. I mean, literally, I mean, we go into lockdown, and, I mean, I just spent almost 2 years stuck at home, isolated, but he's these events again and again. He knows this is illegal, but he just doesn't think the laws apply to him. And I think he should resign. If it hadn't been for the eruption of the war in Ukraine, I think Tory MPs would have forced him out by now. And, frankly, if they don't force him out, they're going to have a big defeat at the next general election.
OK, all right. Well, look, all three of you, thank you so much. It's been great. It's been chaotic and madness, and that's exactly what this show is supposed to be. So thank you very much. And I tell you what, as well, I wouldn't mind parading through the Commons bars with all three of you at once, actually. I think that would be quite the night out. So thank you very much. And also, sorry as well, Neil, for demoting you to the current leader of UKIP in Wales, when indeed you are just the leader of UKIP. So cheers. Cheers for all of that. No offence intended there.
Don't worry about that.
Conservative MP Michael Fabricant, the former Labour Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, and the former Tory MP and the current leader of UKIP, Neil Hamilton. Right, let's go to the panel. Valentine, beergate, Partygate, just don't care gate.
I understand people's frustration around Partygate. Mm-hmm. I understand the frustration when this was all coming out, you know, months ago. I think that the momentum and the snowballs got bigger and bigger, maybe past proportion. I don't think he's going to go of his own volition, is he? So it's a silly conversation in a way.
Yeah.
But I also abhor hypocrisy, so I think it's a bit out of line for anyone who might have been to a little evening of drinks themselves to be making that point.
I mean, who could possibly, certainly in this room, have occasionally met up for a drink after a works event? But there we go. OK. Now, your views on this particular issue.
I mean, I just don't get this whole Partygate thing.
OK.
For me, a party is inviting people to your house or wherever, to an event. And as far as I can make out, Boris, there wasn't anyone out from outside coming to this party. It's just that there was an awful lot of people in Downing Street working there who were drinking at the end of a working day.
Yeah.
Now, in my lockdown, there was 6 of us, and I have to admit, at the end of the day, we had a cocktail, sometimes 2.
Absolutely.
That's not a party. That's just us at the end of the day. We didn't invite anyone in.
No, and indeed, on that note, cheers, ladies. Can I just say thank you very much for coming on the show. Great to have you both. It's the first time you've been on together as a panel. I'm having a fantastic evening, and we've got loads more coming your way, actually, because after the break... Can I just say, just quickly, we've put Partygate to bed now. I really want to give you a vow, hopefully I can stick to it, that I never talk about it again on this channel. I'm sick of the whole thing. I don't think it's as bad as driving 100 ruddy miles to Durham and going to a quote-unquote greasy night. But anyway, right, after the break, it's time for a very special instalment of Challenge Christys. I can honestly say it's one of the best things I have ever done in my entire life. But before that, here's a quick question for you, OK? The Wright brothers are widely credited for having invented the aeroplane. But when was the first flight? Was it A, 1883, B, 1893, or C, 1903? I'll bring you the answer in just 2 minutes. You are not going to want to miss this, people.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity. That's the question. That's 2 questions, actually. That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christys.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
On Mark Dolan tonight, my Mark Meets guest is 80s pop sensation Sinita. We'll talk about fame, money, and falling in love with Simon Cowell. On my panel, Olympics legend Lisa Mason. In the big question, is pornography harmless fun? We'll speak to adult entertainer Brooklyn Blue and Christian campaigner Andrea Williams. Is the Labour Party guilty of hypocrisy over Partygate? Will Vladimir Putin nuke the West? And in my big opinion, why the left is so worried about Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. See you at 9.
There's only one place to be at this time on a Friday night, and it's right here on GB News for Friday Night Feast. So welcome back, everybody. Now, before the break, I asked you this question. The Wright brothers are widely credited with having invented the plane. But when was the first flight? Was it A, 1883, B, 1893, or C, 1903? Well, what do you go for? The answer is C, 1903. There you are. You were wrong about that, were you?
I was right.
You were right. Here
yes.
you go. Yes. Back to you. I suppose you can lie now, Vanity. Were you right or wrong on that one?
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Fantastic, fantastic. Just like my exams all over again. Anyway, yes, the answer was C. Now, Orville Wright flew the first aeroplane in North Carolina on the 17th of December, 1903. Which leads me very nicely to this. Yes, it's my favourite part of the week. It's time for Challenge Christys. We'll come to this week's challenge in just a moment, and believe me, you do not want to miss it. But first, as well as these weekly challenges, I've got a more long-term target, OK? I need to lose 1.5 stone in 2 months. In fact, I need to lose, well, we'll find out exactly how much I need to lose, but basically, I've only got 1 month and 1 week left, OK? Before I dance on stage live with the Dream Boys, they're male strippers, and it'll be in front of a live audience. What are you giggling at? I can do that. Goodness me.
I can't wait.
Goodness me. Anyway, I'll get your ticket. And at the same time as getting fit, I'm aiming to raise lots and lots and lots of money for charity because, as you know, I don't like to go on about it, but I do a lot for charity. OK? But, yes, absolutely, I would never bring it up on national television. Now, on a serious note, Nathan Dunn is a good friend of the show. And next month, he'll start out on this incredible journey that he's doing. He's walking from John O'Groats to Land's End in his bare feet. Nathan's doing it in aid of mental health charity Mind. He's going to be setting a world record in the process. I've decided to try to do my bit to help the same cause. And we've set up a Just Giving page, and it's on your screens right now, OK? This is how much we've got so far. It is 3,388, I believe. I'm struggling to see the screen from there, but there we go. Now, obviously, this is just in 3 weeks. We're only promoting it on this particular show. So, you know, it's basically a pretty good result. So please, please give what you can for what is such a great cause. Suicide is the single biggest killer of young men under the age of 45 in the UK. And whatever you donate will make a massive, massive difference. Simply go to justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. Right, well, let's get stuck into this week's challenge. In the last couple of months, I've done all sorts of things: boxing, show jumping, Irish dancing, goat yoga, but this one is the best one. So let's just go to it right now, actually. Let's get stuck straight in, people. Challenge Christys. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest instalment of Challenge Christys, where you, the viewer, you, the listener, get to challenge me to do something, and I prove that I can do it absolutely magnificently as usual. Now, you may be wondering why I'm wearing this. Well, I was under strict instructions. I was told that I'm not allowed to see where I'm coming today or see what the venue's like when I'm here, because apparently it would just give the whole thing away. I've got no idea why, but anyway, whatever. So, I think it's about time that my producer, Tatiana, gave me that sheet of paper that told me what I was doing. So,
no need today. No need today. Just take off the blindfold.
Just take it off?
Yep.
All right.
Ta-da!
So take it I'm flying a plane, am I?
Better than that, mate. You're landing a plane. What do you think?
Landing a plane?
Yeah.
I can't do that, mate.
Of course you can, mate. The challenge is the challenge. Got you a pilot and everything.
OK, all right. What if I'm sick?
Ah. I thought you'd ask. Sick bag.
You've thought of everything, haven't you? Just, you know, we had the we had the blindfold, we had the sick bag. Well, I'll tell you what I bet you haven't thought of. What am I going to be wearing? Oh. You know?
Got that covered as well.
Sorry, it was a pretty long car journey. I feel the need for speed. I know this is supposed to be called Challenge Christys, but I've got to be honest with you, this seems nuts. This is a bit excessive, this.
Well, it's fine. It's all good. We've done our background checks. Everything's fine. Do you want me to call James?
Have you actually done background checks?
Shall I call him? I'll get him on the phone.
So our producer, James, I'm not convinced. He's a bit, I don't know, half a job James, we call him, really. I'm just not convinced. I've never flown before. I've never done anything like this before, and it just seems like, I mean, it's full of fuel.
Right, here he is. James?
James?
Hey, Tatiana. Hey. Oh, hey, Patrick. How's my boy doing?
Yeah, what's going on, mate?
Well, you're doing your challenge, right?
Yeah, it's just...
You all right?
Yeah, it's just...
Are you there?
It's just, this is... I'm very much here, mate. It's just, this is the kind of thing that I would have thought you'd have run by me before you challenged me to hurtle towards Earth.
No, that's not the point. You're not meant to know. We don't tell you.
Plus, you did your background checks, didn't you?
Spoiled a surprise, didn't we? Background checks? On what, the pilot?
Yes, the pilot, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. He's got a great background. He did 5 years at the Al Qaeda flying school. It's all good. Checked him out.
5 years, where was that, mate?
Al Qaeda flying school. Have you heard of it? In the Middle East somewhere.
They're not known for landing planes, are they, James?
Not known for it, but very good at taking risks.
All right, we've got to get on with it now. That sounds perfect to me. All right, we'll speak to you later.
Lovely.
All right, lovely, James.
You're fully insured, mate. You're fully insured.
Lovely.
10 grand. 10 grand and a
That's
bag
what
of...
my life's worth more than 10.
Bye, James. See you later.
Okay, so here I am at the wonderful Take Flight Aviation, and I'm joined by Dave, who, well, where do I start? I mean, you're going to teach me how to not just fly, but land a plane, I believe.
That's right, Patrick. You indicated on your show that you could do any challenge at all.
I did, yeah.
And let's see if you can do it.
Okay, I mean, turns out some people took that very literally. You did challenge me to do it. You emailed in.
I did email in, challenge that for you to land a plane better than me. And you assured me that you could.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how we get on.
And obviously, let's just walk around because I won't be able to see this wonderful airfield that we've got here. And you said, well, I was a bit cocky, wasn't I, with you?
You were a little bit cocky, Patrick, but that's all right. I know that I've seen your show before. I know what you like.
Okay, good, I think. And when you say land a plane better than you, I mean, well, this isn't your first time, is it?
No. I've been around planes for a long, long time. I've been teaching people to fly for around 25 years.
Okay, all right. And you know, you actually think I'm going to be able to do this? It's just I'm getting a little bit nervous now.
Well, I've done a lot of trial lessons over the years, Patrick, and there's been many, many times when somebody's had a 20-minute or a half-hour trial lesson and almost landed the plane on their first go. So I think you seem to be pretty confident, and with that confidence, I think that'll get you through it.
Do most people turn up wearing this kind of gear?
Not really for their first lesson, Patrick. They don't really turn up dressed like that.
Does it lack ambition, maybe, or...?
No, it's not lacking ambition, but it's not really suitable for a light aircraft. That's more suitable for a jumbo jet captain.
Okay, all right. So you don't think... You feel a bit silly now, really? You don't think people are going to be laughing at me or anything?
But it's quite possible that if people do notice this, that they'll be... And they see you getting into a small aeroplane, they might have a little laugh at you.
All right, so you say small aeroplane, how small are we talking?
A four-seater.
A four-seater?
Yeah,
that's all right. One car's a five-seater, actually. Okay, fair enough. But, right, well, look, I'm getting a bit nervous about this now, so I think maybe it's time we just bit the bullet, is it?
Yeah, definitely. Let's go flying.
Let's do it.
Okay, all set?
You're all set.
Follow me through.
I've already had follow through.
The speed is building, and the gauges are green. I'm using the pedals to keep myself straight.
Okay.
And I'm just looking for 60 knots.
Yeah.
All there.
We're up to 40, 50. We're about to hit 60. We've hit 60.
I'm just
oh my God.
Gently back on the control column, and the aeroplane starts flying.
Wow.
So I'm not actually doing much, as you can see.
No, I can see that. Yep.
It's not like the films where you're giving it all that.
No.
So there's Soho Farmhouse down there.
Soho Farmhouse, that's, for those of you that don't know, that's a members club in the country.
Patrick the member.
Oh, well.
First thing I'll do is have a nice look out, especially to the left. Nobody there. I'll move the control column, so follow me through.
Yeah, I'll follow through, yeah.
Move the control column gently to the left. You see the left wing goes down?
Yeah.
We start a turn to the left, bring the control column back to the right, and centralise. There's us flying level.
Okay, great.
We're going to turn right, have a good look around, especially to the right.
Yeah.
We move the control column to the right, and check. The right wing goes down, and the aircraft starts turning. And to return to level flight, bring the control column back to the left, till the wings level, and centralise.
Gosh, okay.
There you go. So, you have control.
Well, I have control.
You have control.
Okay.
So try a little turn to the left. So nice look out, especially to the left.
Especially to the left, and just turn it, yeah?
Yeah, just give it a little turn and you'll see the left wing goes down.
Yeah.
And you start turning and return to level flight.
Return to level flight.
Good. And to turn right, we have a nice look around, especially to the right.
Yeah.
Move the control column to the right.
Control column to the right.
Aircraft starts to turn.
Good grief.
And return to level flight, so control column back to the left until the wings level, and then centralise.
And then centralise.
So
Goodness me, this is both terrifying and the coolest thing I've ever done in my life.
Excellent.
If we slow it down a bit, just I feel the need for speed. No?
Can you see the numbers?
I've got the numbers.
Two little arrows.
I have got the numbers actually. Yeah.
So you're just going to aim towards that. This is really good now. What
you know? What I'm actually feeling great here.
Yeah. So we're going to go down now, Patrick, and fly ourselves just above the runway. But when I say hold off, you're going to stop us from landing.
Okay.
A little bit to the right. A little bit to the right. Nose down. Nose down. Nose up. Nose up. Level the wings. I'm going to help you now. So we're going to take ourselves. That's all right. Take the power off and hold ourselves off So we're just holding ourselves just above the
I
water.
just lost it right at the end there.
Yeah, that was close though.
I don't know what it was. It seems a lot more sensitive to steer. Maybe it was just me.
Because you're new to it, you're probably getting what they call a ground rush.
Yeah.
You think the ground? No, oh, that disappears though.
Okay, all right. So what we so we're going to do one more. Okay. All right, Dave. Look, quick handshake on the way in. Okay, mate.
Great stuff. So if you turn left now, gentle turn.
Gentle turn. Okay.
So
okay.
nose down a bit.
Nose down a bit. No ground rush for Patrick this time.
Right. Level the wings.
Level the wings. Yes.
Some traffic. Golf Kilo Echo is final. Touch and go. Is actually final to land runway 08.
Yeah.
Just hold us here.
Hold that. I'm holding.
No, hold it back. Hold it back. Keep holding it back. Because the speed has increased, you're having to stop it from going up because it's
the speed increases when you go down.
Yeah, just like a hill, just like you're on the car.
Just like a hill, yeah. Or my career in a way.
Hold it back. Hold it back, Patrick. Okay. Hold it back.
Oh, there we go. Did I really do that?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Get it! I'm so happy. Mate, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's an absolute dream come true, I must say, honestly. I landed a flipping plane, ladies and gentlemen. I landed a plane. This is fantastic stuff. That was the best day of my life, probably the best day of my life. Apart from the day, of course, that, I met my girlfriend and this, that and the other. But that was the best day of my life. How good was that? And if you're listening on GB News Radio, that was me flying and landing a plane. You can watch that challenge right now on your YouTube channel and also the GB News Facebook page. But honestly, you are in for a treat. Right, OK, well, look. He wasn't impressed with my outfit. There's absolutely no way on earth I could ever claim that I could land an aeroplane better than him, but I want to know what he thought of my flying. And I'm delighted to say that flying instructor, the wonderful, the legend himself, David Donovan, joins me right now for a debrief of it. Oh, my gosh, you absolute legend. Thank you so, so much. And I'm watching it back now, and it's one of the first times I've seen it back in full. And, David, it was one of the best days of my life. Thank you so much.
Captain Christys, good evening. Nice to see you again, Patrick. Yeah, it was for all of us at the airfield. We all had a great time as well. It was a really nice afternoon, very, very funny afternoon. And
it was. I
should say as well, absolutely well done. Absolutely well done. You landed the plane on your own. You accepted the challenge, and you completed the challenge.
Good,
really well done, Patrick.
Look, David, thank you. And also, can I just say, I'm sure it's immediately obvious for anyone watching or listening to that, just how in your element you are when you're in that cockpit. Completely calm, completely cool, completely collected, and you're in total control. And indeed, quite literally saved us, I think, on that first landing attempt. But, David, just talk to me a bit about what you do at Take Flight and the wider company there, because I would highly recommend that anyone goes and does it with you guys.
This is terrible. Patrick, I never heard a word you said. It's a kind of bad connection. I'm sorry, I did not hear a word you said. This is absolutely dreadful.
It's all right, don't worry. Take Flight, right? Your company, the company where you work. Just talk to me about them.
Look, I got your certificate here.
Oh, all right.
You can see that. That's your... So we've got... And I've got you your pilot's logbook. Got your pilot's logbook as well. I'm not sure if you're still on, you can see that. And we've got... Hello?
I can see it. I can see it, David. It's looking great.
We've got your certificate and your logbook, and we've got DHL right outside the door, ready to whiz it straight down to you.
Oh, fantastic. Talk to me about Take Flight, your business, the business that you help work with, etc. What's going on there?
Yeah, Take Flight. It's a wonderful little school at Enston. I think it's the best school in England. A lot of people do that are members, and it's been going for many years. There's lots of flying schools everywhere. I'd like to say that if somebody's ever thinking of learning to fly, get on the Google, have a look around, get down to your local airfield. And I think one of the things you'd see, Patrick, is the wonderful view. We had a little discussion. You were saying what a beautiful view it is. And, wherever you fly in this country, you'll look out the window and you'll just see beautiful views, coastlines, mountains. It really is. It's the bird's eye view that I never personally get bored of. I think someone like yourself, you saw as well, you could probably just do that for hours, sitting there looking out the window.
I could live up there. Honestly, I could have lived up there. And even when we ran out of fuel, I don't think I would have cared, actually. I just glided back down. But, David, thank you so much. Not just to you, but
while we're on, my best friend Philip's got a little aerobatic plane. Do you fancy doing a loop-the-loop?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. This is great. David, you're my favourite human being in the world. You've given me the chance to fly a plane. Now I'm going to do a loop-the-loop. All right, this is brilliant. And, of course, ladies and gents, for anyone who thought we were rigging this, right, the viewers weren't getting in touch with us and setting us the challenges, David got in touch, reached out himself. He watches this. This was all you, wasn't it, David?
Oh, I didn't hear what you said, Patrick.
The connection's bad. Don't worry, it's all right. I just want to say thank you very much for everything, David. We'll let you get going there, but thank you so much for everything. And I believe you've donated £100 to our charity as well, which is tremendous stuff. So to raise a bit of money for male mental health. So just want to say a big thank you to you. Everybody now, go and Google Take Flight, OK? And have a look at it. It's around the kind of Chipping Norton area. I can't remember the exact name of the town now, but go and do it. And I would recommend, frankly, doing it as much as you possibly can. David Donovan there, thank you so much. Well, what do we make of that? Quick reaction. Nancy, would you ever be seen dead in a plane like that?
I was impressed there was cameras alongside you. I thought maybe you'd stuck one on a pigeon. No. And it was flying along. I think it was very brave of him to get in a plane with you. So
yeah,
well
I agree. What was your take on it all?
Well, I'm just so lost in admiration. I mean, I can't stand on a chair without getting vertigo, very well being that high up in the air. And when you look down out of the window, I mean, I was feeling sick on your behalf.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can honestly I can't praise David enough. I can't praise Take Flight enough. He felt... The landings there looked absolutely chaotic and horrendous, but I must say, actually, whilst I was doing them, David was just in total control, so, you know, it didn't really ever feel that dangerous. But if you were watching or listening to the show last Friday, you'll have heard me talk about one of our viewers, Sue Harris. Now, it's fair to say that me and Sue have somewhat of a love-hate relationship. I love her, and I think it's a fair bet, really, to say that she hates me. Here's a reminder of what happened 7 days ago. Last week, we launched a Just Giving page to raise money for the mental health charity Mind, OK? As I continue my weight loss journey. Now, there's a lady who gets in touch every single week on the email called Sue Harris. Sue, thank you very much. She is always incredibly derogatory about my weight. I'm yet to see a picture of you, Sue, of course, but... thank you very much for, yet again, fat-shaming me in the inbox. I can't repeat what you call me.
There's a confusing... she signs off with a confusing... She describes you as a Waitrose Darren Grimes.
Which I think is a compliment.
Yeah. That's a step up from Darren Grimes.
It's saying I'm better... No, I don't agree that I'm very good friends with Darren Grimes, of course, but if you called me a pound shop Darren Grimes, Sue, then, oh, goodness me. Right, so not long after that went out, I got another message from Sue Harris, this time... Believe it or not, on our Just Giving page, where we're raising money for the mental health charity Mind. So Sue donated £2. There we go. We've had to bleep a little bit of it out. Classic Sue. But Sue donated £2 and kindly added on the gift aid as well. Sue's all heart, 50p gift aid. So the charity gets an extra 50p. And yes, she took the chance to have yet another dig at my weight. She wrote, "Good luck, Fat Paddy. Let's hope you have a bigger blank than Nigel Farage." We're not showing you one of the words in her message because it's a bit rude, and of course, if nothing else, this is, I think we can all agree, a family show. And I'm delighted to say that just yesterday, Sue donated another £2. So Sue's been in touch quite a few times this week. We thought we'd do, you know, a week in Sue's shoes, really. I'm afraid we can't show you much of what she's written because her language is a little bit fruity, but here's a taste. Patrick, thank you for the shout-out yesterday. My neighbours Brenda and Doug called me straight over after the show. They were very impressed. They mentioned that Asda are doing a good deal on lettuces at the moment. Thanks for the advice there, Sue. Yes, another cheeky little dig at my weight. This next one wasn't quite as polite. Fat Paddy is working hard today, isn't he? 2 shows. Does he not have a different tie? He only ever seems to wear that green beauty. Well, I suppose I should be grateful that you like my tie. I've deliberately worn another one today, Sue. It's great to have fan mail, isn't it? And lastly, for now anyway, there's this. Have you ever seen Christys and Leah Thomas in the same room at the same time? They are doppelgangers, aren't they? Well, personally, Sue, I don't think I look anything like a transgender swimmer, but there we go. So that was Sue. Now, Sue, I think you're great, OK? What's that they say about the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about? So keep being you, Sue. you do you, and hopefully you won't be able to call me Fat Paddy for too much longer. Well, look, of course I am losing weight, but I want to dance with the Dream Boys a little later this week. But what else do you want to see me do in Challenge Christys? I'll be honest, I can't be bothered doing the work myself, so I want you to arrange my next challenge for me. This is what I call Patrick's Promise. You set it up, you pay for it all, I turn up, sign a few autographs and nip off again. You know the drill by now, people, so go on. What are you waiting for? Email me at patrick@gbnews.uk. And who knows, you might be lucky enough to meet me. Anyway, right, OK, there's plenty more to come on Friday Night Feast, including Patrick's hat tricks and Round Your Parts. And don't forget the wedding of the year between Deborah Hodge and her pet cat, India. We think you'll agree that they make a perfect couple. Yeah, all right. We are actually going to be hosting, ladies and gentlemen, the wedding reception of the year. We're going to be renewing the vows to Deborah and India, and we're going to be actually hosting their wedding reception. The staff here are so excited. There's no expense spared here, people. We're going to be decorating the studio. There'll be all sorts. You are not going to want to miss the wedding reception of the year. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity. That's the question. That's two questions, actually. That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christys.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you, or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys. Why on earth would you want to be anywhere else on a Friday night? Let us kickstart your weekend right here on GB News. And if you're only just joining us, you missed a piece of flying that, well, frankly, would not have disgraced the Red Arrows, actually, as I landed a plane in this week's Challenge Christys. Head to GB News' Facebook and YouTube pages right now if you want to see that. But coming up, OK, Tory peer Baroness Nicholson will be here to discuss the controversy surrounding transgender underwear. We'll be showing you an 85-year-old naturist, unrelated, I believe, and we'll also have a pair of the newlyweds in the studio. You're not going to want to miss this, ladies and gentlemen. No expense spared here. We're having our very own GB News party, the wedding reception of the year. Deborah Hodge and her pet cat. Sounds like quite the tale. Oh, it writes this. Anyway, right, that's all to come after the latest news headlines with Simon.
Thanks, Patrick. I'm Simon Pusey in the GB newsroom. Neil Parish is rejecting calls to stand down as an MP while he's investigated for allegedly watching pornography in the House of Commons. He suggested he may have opened a video accidentally. The Select Committee chair said he would be continuing his duties as an MP while cooperating with investigators. It's after he had the Tory whip suspended earlier today. Mr Parish was on GB News 2 days ago. This is what he told us about the incident then.
I mean, I think the Whip's office will do a thorough investigation and we will wait and see that result. And I think, from that, then the decision will have to be made what action to be taken.
The former Wimbledon champion Boris Becker has been sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison after being found guilty of flouting the terms of his 2017 bankruptcy. The former world #1 tennis player was accused of hiding £2.5 million worth of assets and loans to avoid paying his debts. A mother has been jailed for causing the death of her baby daughter whilst keeping her in squalid conditions. 25-year-old Fatun Jamal was jailed for 5 years and 6 months for causing the death by neglect and for 3 counts of child cruelty. The Met Police say the 11-month-old died of a chest infection after weeks of neglect at her home in Brent Park in London. 2 British charity workers reportedly captured by the Russian military in Ukraine have been named as Paul Urey and Dylan Healy. It's understood the volunteers were detained earlier this week at a checkpoint in the south of the country. The 2 men, both civilians, were working as part of a joint humanitarian project helping evacuation efforts. The reports haven't yet been independently verified.
On Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday evening, sorry, I got a call and messages from contacts of theirs back in England saying that they are missing and we believe we know where they are and that they've been taken by Russians. We have had contact with the lady that they were evacuating south of Zaporozhye, and we've had a statement from her to say actually 3 hours after they're supposed to get there on Monday that the Russian soldiers were interrogating her and her family about these 2 British guys that they picked up.
A British terrorist known for being one of 4 IS militants nicknamed the Beatles has been jailed for life. 38-year-old Alexander Amon Koti from West London was convicted for his role in the torture and killings of Western hostages in Syria in the mid-2010s. The Labour leader has said it makes absolutely no difference whether Deputy Angela Rayner was present when he was pictured drinking beer during lockdown. Sir Keir Starmer says there's a stark contrast between the gathering in a Durham office in April last year and what he calls the rule-breaking in Downing Street that Boris Johnson has been fined for. Tory MPs have asked police to reconsider their decision not to investigate the event. TV, online and DAB plus radio, this is GB News, and now it's back to a Friday night feast with Patrick.
Yes, welcome back. Action-packed hour, no time to come up for air, so let's get cracking. Now, a fashion designer has come in for criticism after selling pants which supposedly flatten the genitals of boys as young as 4. The briefs are sold by a company called Carmen Liu, I believe, which is described as the UK's first brand to design flattening and tucking underwear. Well, Conservative peer Baroness Nicholson has been critical of these products and joins us now. Thank you very much. What are some of your concerns?
My concerns, I used to work to Save the Children, and I now chair a charity that works a huge amount in children overseas, Ukrainian children and so on. And obviously I'm deeply concerned that the UN Convention for the Rights of the Child, which is reflected almost exactly in our own Children's Act, allows full health for children, absolutely demands it, and also demands that they're not exploited for sexual or commercial purposes. And this thing just falls straight into both of those convention articles.
You don't think it's possible that a child as young as 4, a male child, might just want to wear them? No?
I don't think
it's not your view. Just speak freely. It's fine. Whatever your view is.
I'm not a mother or a grandmother at the moment, but nonetheless, certainly the medical profession has already said that to press a child's like that while it's growing will undoubtedly harm it.
Okay.
So that's good enough for me.
So talk to me about these 2 elements of it then. There seems to be physical harm, but also the exploitation, potential anyway, exploitation of children for commercial gain.
Correct.
So let's start with the physical elements.
Gain.
And sexual gain,
yes.
I suppose, all right.
Because obviously sex, as it's to do with its genitals, it's not to do with anything else, not to do with its brain, not to do with its brawn, it's not to do with its sport, it's to do with its genitalia.
OK. Do you think it would be irresponsible for any parent to buy this item of clothing for their child?
I think the parents would be wrong to do that and should consult the doctor, and if necessary, the lawyer. They shouldn't do it.
OK. OK, fair enough. And that's your view, of course. But in terms of a company promoting it for commercial gain, I suppose the gender-neutral market is larger than it's ever been before. Maybe they're just hopping on board with it.
I don't think it's anything to do with gender. I think it's to do with the sexual or commercial exploitation of children. Unfortunately, grown-ups do this all the time. That was the need for the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child. I was in the Save the Children when this was drafted, and then in Parliament when it was passed. And I've used this convention in different countries to stop child trafficking, for example.
OK.
We're starting to work on that in Ukraine at the moment. So it's perfectly clear. Now, parents obviously are parents, and I'm not a parent, but I would suggest this is not a sensible thing to do on the grounds of common sense, but also from the UN Convention and the Children's Act and the rights of the child to normal health. This is not the right way forward.
Well, I'm going to bring my panel in a second, but just before that, look, I suppose I would have thought the company, I mean, they'd be mad not to say this, but I would have thought the company and say this is about, you know, I suppose, promoting an avenue for children who want to wear gender-neutral clothing and this and the other. You seem to think this is the sexualisation of children.
I think my principal concern, and I'm not a medical professional, but the medical profession immediately said this is a very bad idea. You will crush the child's genitalia, and they're growing, and they're 4. And, of course, at the age of 4, they don't really have they don't have the capacity or the competence or the agency to decide their gender or anything like that. That's much later on.
So it would potentially then, in your view, if we take this to its logical conclusion, be parents or adults potentially forcing a gender neutrality onto their children?
Actually, I think it's totally commercial. It's been done for commercial purposes, and we're not meant to exploit children commercially in any way at all, particularly not on health grounds. That's very clear in all the legislation. OK, well, look, I'll bring my panel in. Now, look, Valencia, I hope you don't mind me going to you first. I hope it doesn't seem too gratuitous, but your views, please, go on.
By all means. I mean, it strikes me that this isn't necessarily gender-neutral attire. This is, to some extent, gender-nullifying attire, and I think there's a distinction.
Interesting point, that.
Young people
What a fabulous face you have. Really beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
And
I love it.
I'm only wearing moisturiser. It's very subtle.
You're absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Go on, sorry. Yes.
Well,
gender nullifying.
Yeah, it's sort of gender nullifying. Now, look, there's no doubt that there are kids across all ages who are really uncomfortable with aspects of their body. I do think that, and again, I say this with no children, but I would hope that my children are encouraged in every way to be comfortable with the body they have, understanding there will be exceptions to that at various points in their life, and there might be medical interventions at various points in people's lives. But it does seem to me that a pair of marketable undergarments that will be purchased by parents for 4-year-old kids, I mean, how big is that market? It's...
Well, also, I'm not being funny about this. I hope you don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, but I mean, does a 4-year-old need much flattening, really, down there? It's not, it's not as if they've gone through puberty and this, that, and the other.
But also, it's the how much money this company's making.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling these pants which have pink and blue ribbons for £37 for 3. What? For 3 pants. I mean, that seems to me financial exploitation.
Well, it's sexual exploitation.
Well,
it's exploitation
financial
of
as well as sexual.
Exploitation of children, and it's also moving across parental rights for how the children are brought up. That's perfectly firm as well.
The other thing
but I tell you what, if they turn out like you, they'd be stunningly beautiful anyway. But I think they'd be girls.
That's fine.
I don't think they'd be boys anyway.
I wonder, when you use the word sexual exploitation, this is a very sort of red-hot term. It's not the case that these children are necessarily being sexually abused or sex trafficked.
They're being physically abused.
Physically abused with their sex organs.
Yes.
But it's not necessarily that there's some perverse erotic impulse behind the parents.
No, but it's the fact that these pants are meant to make them sterile. I mean, that's the whole point.
Exploitation doesn't work for children.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right, look, fantastic. We could talk about this all day. I mean, actually, I'm starting to feel a bit outnumbered here, I must say.
I tell you what, we're enjoying ourselves. We might go have supper together.
Please do. No, you have to stick around. Please, how do you feel about sticking around for the world's weirdest ever wedding reception? Now, how much time... you might busy, have you got a lot on later? I understand. But we are having a wedding reception for a woman who married her cat later in the studio.
Excellent.
So, yes, good.
More the merrier.
You're up for it. There we go. Right, Baroness Nicholson there, the wonderful Conservative peer who, of course, has been critical of these products. I suppose it's more than, well, gender-nullifying pants for kids. It could potentially have some physical impacts as well. It's a sexualisation of them. So a good topic to get stuck into. GBViews at gbnews.uk. Get in touch, people. We'll be doing Post-Person Pat, quite appropriately named when it comes to this, actually, later on, where we get stuck into your views. I really do care what you think. But from that true story, we move on to this week's edition of Patrick's Fake News. And if you're new to the show, basically, I go out and about and ask the great British public what they think of a story that I've completely made up. And this week, it was all about Ryanair. Now, me and Ryanair have got a little bit of history, OK? So back in November, Ryanair responded to my claim that Emmanuel Macron was a pound shop Napoleon by saying there was plenty of legroom for the French president on their aeroplanes and that they charged pound shop prices. I responded, hey, look, maybe I had...
Is that different from Mr Macron?
Yeah?
He's very small.
He is very small. He could fit him in the overhead locker. But, hey, now, look, whatever. Maybe I was at lunch and maybe there'd been a couple of glasses of wine at this lunch. But I responded by saying, Ryanair has a lot in common with Macron, and I'm not proud of this bit. Its birds are old and out of date, and it regularly leaves people disappointed. Now, I'm sorry about that, everybody, but Ryanair also responded with, a bit like your career, too. The sign of a good journalist is fact-checking, and Ryanair has 210 of the new what's-its jobs. We all get it, $1 billion, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it's all fun and games, but weirdly, I have a massive beef with Ryanair now. So, yes, anyway, let's see if we can hear any more from them after this week's fake news segment. I reckon that they'll want to chomp, but yes... Basically, I've gone out and mugged Ryanair off. The latest thing is, get this, they've calculated the amount of breaths that an average person would take on a flight, depends on obviously the distance that you're flying, and they're going to introduce a breath tax as a way of getting more money out of you.
Sounds like an April Fool's, if you ask me.
Really?
Yes.
You think so? You wouldn't fly Ryanair as a result of it, or you're not bothered?
I would not.
If they introduce it, you'd be like, no, not for me.
Definitely not. No.
That's very stupid.
Would you stop flying with Ryanair again?
Yes.
Really?
Breathing is a natural thing.
It is?
Yeah.
Like going to the toilet?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, or eating, in a way.
Yeah, so why would I pay just to breathe?
It's so cheap to fly with Ryanair.
Yeah.
Or EasyJet. I don't know how they do it.
No, absolutely.
So fine.
So you would pay to breathe?
Do you want to call it that?
Yeah.
I'm paying to fly efficiently and cheap.
OK. You wouldn't be more inclined to hold your breath while you're on there, then?
No, I wouldn't.
Is that real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The slogan is Ryanair will take your breath away.
Yes.
It's terrible.
They will.
They will. Would you fly with Ryanair?
No, not anymore.
Really?
I will change for EasyJet.
EasyJet, yes.
Is that really, really true? Because it sounds absurd.
Well, they used to want to make you pay to go to the loo, didn't they?
Well, yeah, wasn't it like 10 pence? Nah, I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
Don't believe it,
You don't think they'll go through with it?
No.
Nah, surely not.
Yeah.
You're having a laugh.
No, like they want you to make you pay to go to the loo.
No chance.
You wouldn't fly with Ryanair? It says Ryanair will take your breath away. Ryanair will take your breath away. Anyway, I'm sure there'll be some witty response from the pound shop airline there, but there we go. Anyway, it's time now for Patrick's Hat Trick, when I bring you 3 videos that have gone viral on social media this week and we get a bit of reaction from it. So the first one is absolutely incredible. A man throws a basketball into the net and it starts off a remarkable sequence of events. If you're listening on radio, I'll talk you through it. Let's play the clip. So, man with basketball in hand, he throws it into a net, then all of a sudden we're going down a sun lounge, and then it hits some kind of crates and it goes... it's a bit like Mousetrap. Have you ever seen the film Mousetrap? Basically, things are going off at left, right and centre. Balls flying everywhere, which is appropriate given the topics that we've been speaking about this evening. I mean, this is a man with far too much time on his hands, ladies and gentlemen.
A lonely man.
A lonely man, a lonely, sad man with too much time on his hands. Anyway, it's knocked off a bicycle wheel. That bicycle wheel has now knocked off some guttering. They were going all around his house. Can you imagine how gutted he'd be if right at the end this went completely wrong and the ball missed the mark? He's got a clean-up operation and a half going on here, hasn't he?
This camera person is going so quickly.
That's a really good point. You know what? All too often our camera crews don't get the respect they deserve. I certainly treat them with that.
But wait a sec, we've changed ball.
We've changed ball about...
You're not allowed to change ball, are you?
Keep up. We've changed ball about 57 times.
I only just noticed.
Absolutely. New balls, please. It's like Wimbledon.
No, we
on
can't
steroids.
change ball. I thought it had to be the same ball.
Oh, no. Well, this isn't a professional game, is it? You know, they can do whatever they want. Look at it. He's got the monkey swings going now and
How big
everything.
a garden has he got, this man?
Well, there's so many questions.
We're going cross fields here.
We're going cross
into woods, into woods.
Into a different postcode. Goodness, where's he get all this stuff from? As well, breeze blocks. He's got a basketball on the go. Oh, it's just about made it.
Goodness.
See what? This is
a
gripping.
lazy basketball, this one.
Lazy. Oh, now it's down quite literally leading us down the garden path.
Yeah.
And through the forest. There we go. All the way down.
Gosh.
I mean, how can he possibly have predicted?
We're out into raw nature here.
And into a basketball now. Get in! Basically, that was the most long-winded slam dunk of all time, and I think we can all agree I will never be a sports commentator. Right, next. Don't be too jealous of anyone who is going away somewhere sunny this weekend. It doesn't always go to plan. So, there's a man here picking up a snake out of the sea. He's got the whole ocean to aim at. Dispose of the water snake. Get rid of the water snake. Give it a good old... And there's a lilo full of children, and he's thrown it onto that. And so... There we go. Absolute shocker. What is, can I ask, the worst place you've ever been on holiday?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I've always
Have you had some
nice
shockers?
holidays.
Have you really?
No, I've always had a nice time.
Where's the best place?
I enjoyed Cyprus.
Really? You know I'm half Cypriot?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah. Where did you go? Greek.
Cyprus is half Cypriot.
Cyprus is half Cypriot, that's true. I had a rather awkward exchange with a Turkish Cypriot member of staff just the other day. Didn't realise he was from that side. Anyway, best place you've ever been on holiday?
Oh, I just love going to Greece. Because
guys.
Well, that's it. We're all pro-Greek here.
Should we call it Friday night meze instead?
Yes.
This would be fantastic.
Yes.
I shall smash a couple of plates at the end and we'll be away. Right, finally, to complete the hat trick, we've had left foot, we've had right foot. Time for a header. Some people are pro-mask, some are anti. There's room for all opinions, and if someone disagrees, it's totally fair to debate the matter in a calm and rational way. Or you can push them and threaten them with pepper spray.
Started. Thank you. Oh my goodness!
Stop! You're getting away. I'll walk you here. You're my life. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do this. I'm gonna call the cops on you. Yeah.
Right, OK, there we go. That was a man. I'm not sure if the sound quite came through there if you were listening on radio, but there was a man there in a store not wearing a mask, OK, and a man who was wearing a mask. And essentially, the man with the mask threatened to, well, he pushed and then he threatened to pepper spray the other chap. Can I ask you, were you a pro-masker?
Yes, because...
You were?
Yes, I was quite happy. I had them in all different colours. I had sequins. I had a lady who would add sequins to them. They matched my outfit. I'm very upset that I've had to put all these beautiful masks aside now.
Come on. What about you? You were...
Oh, no. We'd wear them at the absolute bare minimum. I mean, I like to see people's mouths when they talk.
Oh, good.
It's an erotic thing.
It's an erotic thing, absolutely. Well, no, but did you ever get told off for not wearing a mask? I did. On the tube, people coming up and being like, are you exempt? Are you exempt? Oh, it was none of your business.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I was ever confronted. But then I also would avoid places where I would have to. I mean, I like to travel in the open air anyway. I'm always on a bike.
Are you?
Yeah, so I would get around like that. And yeah, it was I never saw that side of the pandemic where people were getting really argy-bargy about it.
Getting a bit aggy. Just very quickly, I take it that you used to get very annoyed if people didn't wear their mask. Do you think that was rude of them?
No, I didn't mind that at all.
their
I mean,
own.
no, that was their choice. And I just thought it was bad with shop workers because they're having to deal with the public. They were wonderful. They were there every day. And I thought it was only polite for the rest of us to wear masks with them.
OK, good stuff. OK, whizzing through. There's literally no time to breathe on this show this evening. Still to come after the break, it's Round Your Parts. Yeah, you heard. Featuring an 85-year-old naturist and a 7-person brawl caused by a rabbit. And don't forget as well that a little later we'll be hosting the wedding reception of the year, if not the decade, OK? It's for a woman and her cat. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes & Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes & Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christys.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Welcome back, everybody. Now it's time for Round Your Parts, where we dig deep to find some of the absolute gems of local news. So, up your way, as it were. I'll start this week's roundup with a bold statement. You're never too old to be naked. And I've always said that, OK? Oh, you see, because we're getting involved. Right, those are the words of 85-year-old Stuart Haywood, who's been telling Staffordshire Live all about the joys of naturism. Now, Stuart only started stripping off at the age of 72, but he's now the subject of an exhibition, quite literally, which will include pictures and drawings of him naked. If you want to see Stuart in his birthday suit, well, I question your sanity. But if you really are interested, then they'll be on display at a naturist holiday resort in Lincolnshire, so, you know, highbrow stuff, from May the 14th. OK, now, Vanity, just quickly, you're used to performing in front of a load of strangers. Have you ever felt the urge to get your kit off?
I've stripped teased on stage in my shows. I once was doing a burlesque show in Madame Jojo's, which isn't what I usually do, because I'm singing and I'm playing piano most of the time. But I did a whole burlesque routine.
Would it be your thing? Oh, hello. Sounds like it might be. You've sold a ticket.
Yeah. Well, I was just recently asked by the Daily Mail to appear in a bikini. And I was all for that. I know, I was all for this. But my children had a bit of a meltdown. And then I discovered...
So you were going to do it?
Yes, I was going to do it. But then I discovered I had to tell my age, because the whole point was Harriet, age so-and-so. Now, I don't mind appearing in a bikini, but I do mind revealing my age. So that was the end of that idea.
Well, that's
so that would be more revealing to you
than
having your breasts bared in the national press.
Oh.
Fantastic. I miss the old days of Page 3, actually, not just for the obvious reason, but for the captions. It would always be like, Candice from Essex is... Really, it'd be like, you know, a woman on a beach doing all of this, and then, the caption would be, oh, my top's just come undone. Would be quite it's perfect timing. I'm doing my own Page 3.
Paddy strikes again.
OK, all right, we need to get Vanity off. And it would always be like, Candice is really, really annoyed about the plight of Sierra Leone, and it'd just be a woman topless on a beach in Essex. But anyway, right, now to Leicester, where I believe there are no beaches, where a huge fight has broken out over a rabbit. 7 adults kicked, bit and wrestled with each other in front of children. So, Leicester Crown Court. So it's gone all the way to Crown Court, this people. Bear in mind, it's got to get through the mags first. Heard that 2 families had previously been involved in an argument over a rabbit. Caroline Orchard and her teenage son Ethan went to their neighbour's house and got involved in a brawl in front of children. You keep it classy, Leicester. Caroline and Ethan both admitted 1 count of a fray and each got a 12-month community order. Goodness me. Now, Harry, I've heard the phrase going at it like rabbits before, but it's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Well, Well, I'm just absolutely astonished. I mean, what happened next?
Well, a court case and a fine.
I mean, and also, can't rabbits have babies? Couldn't they just have a baby and each one of them have the baby or something?
I think rabbits famously can have babies, actually, yes. But whizzing on through, now this story from Great Yarmouth is no joke. Anyway, police got a Kinder surprise when they found Class A drugs in a Kinder egg. And yes, we are running this story because my production team have thought of some puns. Yes, very punny, guys. Anyway, Connor Thompson was spotted acting suspiciously by plainclothes police officers. He had 14 wraps of cocaine hidden in a Kinder egg. Thompson was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment, suspended for 2 years. So, there we go. Now, we have a famous cat coming into the studio later on, arguably the most famous cat of its time, really. But here's another one. A one-eyed cat has been discovered in a storage container on a North Sea oil platform. So the cat, oh, bless it, the cat who's nicknamed One-Eyed Joe, and also, in a much meaner sense, Cyclops, is a regular visitor to a prison in Peterhead, which is around 30 miles from Aberdeen, where he's fed by prison staff. So he's got a real high quality of life, this guy. It turns out One-Eyed Joe is actually called Dexter and went missing 5 years ago. Cats do this, don't they? Cats do this. Now, many people are trying to make their households more green these days, but the homeowner of a house in Ramsgate, anyway, took the idea a little bit too literally. They allowed the front garden to become so overgrown that the house disappeared completely, forcing the council to intervene. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, behind all of that foliage is actually a house, a van, complete with residents' family of squirrels, and also a boat. I mean, if the outside of the house looks like that, I'd hate to see what their downstairs loo looks like, to be perfectly honest with you, but yes. And just look at the difference after the council took action. If you're listening on GB News Radio, look at that. The front of the house is actually now visible, and it looks all right, considering it's big.
It does not.
I've been trying to do the polite thing. Right, look, we've had to rattle through round your parts. We love local news stories here. You can send them in to us. Local news is almost the lifeblood of British news, really. And we always want to highlight it and try to localise it for you. Why? Because we are Britain's news channel, the people's news channel. TV starts at home. Now, it's time for this week's National Treasure. Very on brand. We're delighted to welcome Dave Heaney, known affectionately as Blind Dave. He's completed a string of incredible challenges, raising thousands of pounds for charity in the process. In 2008, he ran 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents, and 3 years later, he ran and cycled from John O'Groats to Land's End. He was awarded an OBE in the Queen's Birthday Honours List in 2020. He's just completed yet another amazing feat, completing an 800-mile charity bike ride from Colditz Castle in Germany to his home of West Bromwich in 7 days. And Dave joins me now. Welcome along, Dave. How are you, my good man? Believe he's there. We got Dave?
Good evening,
yes,
sir.
hey,
Thank
how
you
are
very
you?
much for the introduction.
No. So, are you keeping well?
Yes, we're keeping very well, mate. Legs are back to normal. Sort of calmed down a little bit. The old backside might be still hurting a little bit, but other than that, we're fine.
Goodness gracious me. Now, our National Treasure is awarded to someone that we think maybe sometimes flies under the radar, although you've done a lot of stuff, actually, Dave, to be fair, who really is the lifeblood, the spine, as it were, of our great nation. And when we announce someone as a National Treasure every single week, we give them a big round of applause initially. So, come on, there we go. That got me. Well done, Dave. Well done. Dave, what's the hardest thing you've ever done?
Well, that's a very good question. All adventures that I've done, all challenges that I've done have obviously been hard, but they've all got their own memories, they've all got their own pain, they've all got their own banter and laughter that goes with it. So, I mean, I've run across the desert and that was a bit hot and a bit high at times. I never realised there was mountains in the Sahara Desert. Jumping off that boat alongside Alcatraz prison, hitting that water, very cold, currents very strong. That was no mean feat and, made me wince a little bit. But I think they all hold that kind of, dare I say, that kind of hardship. But to identify one as hard is very, very difficult because they all tax the body somewhat.
What on earth do you do it, Dave, you nutter?
Yeah, probably right, and that's the exact word. I probably think of some others, but nutter will spring to mind at this moment in time.
Absolutely, this is incredible. And have you got any idea how much money you've managed to raise roughly as a total for everything that you've done?
Yeah, we've estimated it's over £3 million now, and obviously always on the uprise. So but I mean, money and the funding is very important. But I also think that creating awareness for the relevant charities is also important. So, it's like you, I would say, here's a sponsor form, but I don't anymore because I'll create the awareness factor to you, and then it's your decision whether you support or not. But, it's all important, isn't it? Awareness, funding, and being a bit crazy.
Absolutely. Now, look, Dave, I hope you don't mind me bringing this up at all. You are affectionately known and reliably informed anyway as Blind Dave. Would you mind talking to me a bit about what life is like for you in that regard, and what happened, I suppose, in terms of that? Were you born blind at all, or did it come on?
I never mind talking about it, because the more that you talk about it, the more people, gain that awareness for blindness. I was born with a disease called retinitis pigmentosa. It's hereditary through my granddad. The male is the sufferer and the female is the carrier. I was at 10 years of age when I was taken to the Birmingham Eye Hospital, diagnosed with the said complaint. Always had night blindness, never seen in dark places. And from the age of 10 onwards, it was in my head, but I never really took much notice because I could still see a bit. At the age of 18, when I wanted to join the armed forces, basically the 3 words, "son, you're exempt," made me realise what blindness was going to do to me. And at that particular moment in time, it was going to rob me of a life. I went 2 years or so where I felt sorry for myself, and, quite rightly so. I think a lot of people do. At the end of it, it was a case of, is somebody going to continue wiping my backside for the rest of my life, or am I going to get on with living? And I hope that I got on with living. And I now look upon blindness as a gift, because it's gifted me, I would never have got to places that I've visited. I've never got to have done all the adventures. I've met all sorts of people. So now I really, it's not to be scoffed at, because, excuse my French here, if somebody always asks the question, what is it like to be blind? And the answer is bloody awful. But you've got to get on with living, haven't you? You've got to sort the cards that you've been dealt with, and hopefully I have. So I've looked on the positive side. So I try to help. I try to move. I'm a carpenter as well, and I've got all 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Mix up the furniture and all the rest of it. So blindness is one of those things. It's a little bit of a problem when you want to get into a car and stay wet in the winter. But if that's my only problem, I'll keep on trucking.
Oh, I tell you what, that is a proper national treasure. Dave Heaney there, OBE. Thank you very much. Dave, you're an inspiration to absolutely everybody. Very much the best of British. You got a clap on the way in, you're going to get a clap on the way out as well. This week's national treasure, Dave Heaney. What a mighty fine man. Best of British.
Thank you, Richard. Richard, before I shoot, can I use the Just Giving?
Yeah. What? Which one? The one for you? You mean you're just giving?
Yes.
Yeah. Do it
for the last Escape from Colditz, which was for the Albion Foundation, and anybody who's got a spare copper or 2 or even £100, if they go on to the justgiving.com/Team Blind Dave Escape from Colditz, we would truly appreciate any donation. Thank you.
Good stuff, Dave. All right, you absolute legend. Thank you very much for that. How good was that? But we've got to keep it moving. Again, we've got to keep it moving because we've got a massive end to the show. But time now for Dog of the Week. And it's more a case of Dogs of the Week, really, this time, not just dogs singular, because we are talking to Sharon Tubenheim, who fosters dogs for Many Tears Rescue, oh bless, until they find their forever homes. She started in 2015 and has now fostered more than 100 dogs. Now, Many Tears Rescue is based in South Wales, but has dogs in foster homes throughout the UK. And they take in and rehome mainly ex-breeding dogs who are no longer required. Not always had the easiest start in life, those have they? Dogs who are in pounds, and also dogs whose owners are no longer to keep them, quite often because of some medical conditions as well. And Sharon joins us right now. Thanks so much for coming on, Sharon. Great to have you on the show. Well, look, just talk to us about a couple of Dogs of the Week this week, then. Who have you got? Run us through their names and what they're about.
Right. Currently, I've got the Cocker Spaniel that you just saw on the video there, the red cocker. She, in fact, just went to the vets today, which is kind of interesting having just spoken to Blind Dave, because she's actually been born with cataracts. She's only probably about 1 or 2 years old. That's her there. She's got also a micro eye on her right eye, which is a very, very tiny eye. So her eyesight is fairly limited, bless her. As you can see, she can run around in the garden quite well, but she will need a very expensive cataract operation, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, which we will start raising money for. The other little one, the other little one you saw in the background also very briefly, that's my second foster dog, and she's a little sort of Shih Tzu cross that is, there she is, very scared, very nervous, come from, she's an ex-breeding dog, so come from kennels, not used to living in a home at all. And my sort of job is to rehabilitate her, get her used to living in a home, get her walking on a lead, get her house trained, and then hopefully find her a lovely person to adopt her.
100%. How much is a cataract operation, if anyone's watching this now?
A cataract operation is about £3,000 or £4,000.
Not cheap, is it? Not cheap. And just in terms of, sorry, I can't remember the name of the Shih Tzu again, but just in terms of your lovely Shih Tzu, settled it. I know you said it was very nervous, ex-breeding dog, not their fault at all. It's amazing how able to forgive dogs are, actually, I do find. How have they settled in OK with you now? You can see that they would be all right for a forever home, really.
Yes, I mean, the Shih Tzu is called Mildred. She's probably not ready yet for a forever home, unless she goes to somebody very experienced with scared and frightened dogs. My job is to get them in and obviously settle them and work with them to hopefully then go on to their forever homes. It's a little bit like how long is a piece of string.
Yeah.
I've had some that I can turn around really quite quickly in a few days, and then others can take weeks, sometimes even months, actually.
Yeah, of course. Sharon, if people want to get in touch with you right now, how do they do it?
You can go onto our website, Many Tears website. We have probably, I think, about 130 dogs at the moment. It gives lots of information about the dogs, their background, you know, what you can expect from what they can do, you know, walking on a lead or house training. Click on them, have a read, and hopefully put in an application and adopt.
There you go. Easy as that. Bish, bash, bosh, as they say. Sharon, thank you very much. And that was this week's Dog of the Week, but it was dogs plural, ladies and gents. So make sure you get in touch as well. GBviews at gbnews.uk. Do you want to adopt any of these dogs? Let us know. Maybe we can try and help you out with it as well. But if you're just tuning in, you've missed me landing a plane in the latest instalment of Challenge Christys. One challenge that I'll take on in the next month or so is to dance with the Dream Boys. That's right, who are male strippers. I'm trying to lose 1.5 stone in 2 months. I've only got 1 month and 1 week left. I'm doing it all to raise money for the mental health charity Mind, but specifically a chap called Nathan Dunn, who's walking from John O'Groats to Land's End barefoot. And now we've already raised £3,845. Now, bear in mind, when we started this show, ladies and gents, we were on 3,200. Please, 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 let's try and get to £4,000, OK? £4,000 for the end of the show, if we possibly can. Can we just bring that back up again? Because I want people to be able to actually see the link and how they donate on this. So you make sure that you go to the Just Giving website, OK, and just see it there. And, yeah, so it's justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. So it's justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. So please, can you all get in touch with us on that? Put your hand in your pocket. If you've got any spare cash, and it's all for Mind, like I've said, did you know that every single day, unfortunately, 12 men take their own lives, and it's the single biggest killer of men under the age of 45? Not enough is said and done about specifically male mental health in this country. I don't mind trying to champion that cause, but Nathan Dunn's your man, OK? Walking barefoot from John O'Groats to Land's End. We'll try and get him on the show next week because his challenge starts very soon. But guess what? Sue Harris has donated another £2 this evening. Get in. The one and only Sue Harris. And she's had yet another dig at me. She's written, "Can't wait to see your twig and berries, Fat Paddy. Hopefully your spare tyres won't hang over the moneymaker." Thank you, Sue. And another 50p gift aid. And thanks also to Etienne, who has said, I'm donating £5 because Sue Harris has inspired me to do so. Now, that link, people, OK, we need to give it one cheeky last plug, justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. Please, 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 if you can, put your hand in your pocket, give it a rattle, see what's in there and chuck it their way, please, OK? Thank you very much. So justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. Right, now, it's time for this. Earlier in the show, we spoke about misbehaviour of MPs. 56 MPs facing allegations of sexual misconduct. And this is the bit, of course, where I read out your views. Steve says, why are there outlets for alcohol in Westminster? I can't smoke or drink at work. High time to shut down the gin joints. Those fools are bad enough without the drink. There we go. I think it's an institution, though, isn't it? Anyway, I asked if Boris Johnson or Sir Keir Starmer should lose their jobs. Partygate, beergate. I wanted to put it to bed once and for all. Here we go. I think that both... This is Derek. I think that both party leaders should resign. Just burn it all to the ground, Derek? The Guy Fawkes approach to the British Parliament. Why not? Blow the whole thing? No. OK, fair enough. Ian says, Patrick, as a retired chief flying instructor, I thought you did well at landing the Cessna 172. You should be proud of yourself. Some students really struggle with that. I mean, I did struggle with it quite a lot, to be fair. It's all down to Dave Donaldson, who's an absolute master. You should take it up and get yourself a private pilot's licence. You won't regret it. Well, Dave, unfortunately, we had a couple of sound issues with Dave. We had a flying book for me as well and everything. It looks as though I'm well on my way. Roy on GBNews said, when I saw Patrick come out in his pilot uniform, I thought it was Elon Musk, a dead ringer. Lol. All right, mate, I'm copying it tonight from you lot. Tom on Twitter quickly just says, I pay good money to see the stud at Patrick Christys Dance with the Dream Boys. You can pay good money. You literally can pay money for me to do it. Have you not been listening? This is what we're trying to do. Get in touch, OK, with justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. Right. Excuse me, sorry. Now, next on Friday Night Feast, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Now, Valentin, I'm just going to throw over to you. Have you ever been to any bizarre wedding receptions?
I've performed at literally hundreds, well, so many weddings. I've been to so many weddings. I've had such bizarre weddings, but this cat situation is definitely the most unusual yet. It
is. Well, look, this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. We can believe we can see some people walking in front of the cameras now, but this is all deliberate, OK? It's chaos, because this is some members of my esteemed crew here. Look at them, we've got all the balloons coming in. What else have we got? Lucy, what you got there? Colin, the caterpillar cake. Steve.
The cat.
Steve's got the confetti. And here we go. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. OK. So, all right, so this is madness, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to listen to me very closely at home because it's going to be very chaotic for the end of the show, OK? So this is the bit where a woman renews her vows with her cat right here in the studio. Fantastic stuff. And look, so that we're managing to decorate this studio perfectly for the wedding reception. And this is Deborah Hodge. Deborah, how are you, Deborah? You all right? Come a bit towards me here, Deborah, I think. Let's try and get you on this camera facing that way as well. There we are. Good stuff.
Hello, darling. You're beautiful.
We're putting some chairs out here. You can see we've got some chairs on the go. We've got all the balloons coming here. OK, right now, we're going to go to a quick break because what we need to do, OK, everybody, what we need to do is we need to make sure, right, we need to make sure that we get all of this completely set up. It's madness here. This is really the show where anything can happen. We're going to get the wedding reception venue set up, OK, for Deborah and her beloved cat India. Where are you? Come here. Join me. Look at this, OK? Who could not love? Hold the cat up a little bit. There we go.
I love my baby.
That's the one.
She's my baby.
And Deborah, who's obviously great, basically married India so that she wouldn't be evicted. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw to a very quick break, but when we come back, it's the wedding reception of the year, people. Woo!
How are you?
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christys.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
On Mark Dolan tonight, my Mark Meets guest is 80s pop sensation Sinita. We'll talk about fame, money and falling in love with Simon Cowell. On my panel, Olympics legend Lisa Mason. In the big question, is pornography harmless fun? We'll speak to adult entertainer Brooklyn Blue and Christian campaigner Andrea Williams. Is the Labour Party guilty of hypocrisy over Partygate? Will Vladimir Putin nuke the West? And in my big opinion, why the left is so worried about Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. See you at 9.
Oh my gosh. Right, now it's time to meet Deborah Hodge, who took the fairly drastic decision to, well, ensure that her beloved cat India would not be evicted. She married her in a park. That's right. Deborah has had to rehome 3 animals, bless her, over the years, due to landlords not allowing pets. But she's hoping that her recent wedding will prove her commitment to India. So landlords will think twice, frankly, before trying to separate this beloved pair. You can see the love between them now, can't you? It's a sight to behold. Absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, joining me now is the wonderful Deborah and her beautiful bride, who's a very, very well-behaved cat, I must say. Her beautiful bride, India. Brilliant stuff. Right, OK, Deborah, I've got to ask, was it love at first sight, was it?
Oh, my God, absolutely. She was like 4 weeks old and I saw her and her head was shaking because she was so scared.
Oh.
But can I just say now...
Yeah?
There's been some trolls. I am not sexually attracted to my cat.
Right, so that's just as well. So I was going to ask if you'd consummated, but I imagine the answer is no. No, of course not. No, of course not. No, that would be mental, wouldn't it?
We don't go there.
Yes, indeed. So talk to me about how the ceremony went, because we're going to renew the vows very, very shortly, a little bit. But just talk to me about how the ceremony actually went.
Well, I just told the universe that I'm never going to be separated from my cat. She's mine.
Oh.
She's, she's wonderful. I'm hers. And that was it. Like, she's always going to be mine, till death do us part.
Quite literally, till death do us part. And, I mean, just talk to me about, because I don't want to bring up any trauma, not on today, this special day of all days, but about the other pets, because, you've had to move them on.
We had to rehome our huskies because we moved into a flat.
Gosh, right.
That broke my heart.
Oh.
And then we had another cat, Jamal, and our landlord said we could keep him, and then he said we couldn't, and it was, talk about messing with my head.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So when I persuaded him that I could have another cat, we got her. But I recently lost my job. Can't say the company.
No.
FGM.
No, we can't.
I can't say
Definitely
that.
won't. We wouldn't bring that up, would we?
It's not not the droids we are looking for.
No, okay.
But no, so, yeah, I cannot be taken from my cat ever. She's
Good
my
stuff.
world.
OK, well, just before we renew some vows here, we've got a wonderful little studio audience in. Guests at the wedding, family of the cat on one side, family of Deborah on the other. Can we have a round of applause, everybody? Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to throw to my panel as well. Fancy start with you. You know, I mean, your overbearing views on this issue.
I love cats.
Yes.
I love cats. People should
You've
not be
gotta love
parted
the
from their cats.
pussy.
Absolutely. Well, to each their own. No, I love cats. And I what's wrong with having a damn cat, landlords?
Yeah, I agree with you. Should landlords just back off?
Yes, I mean, what harm is this cat doing?
Yes, indeed.
What are they doing fussing about a cat? They've got a lot more other things they should be fussing about.
I was hoping that we had a bit of cat food here. We've got cake for ourselves. We've got cake, we've got a bit of confetti, we've got some mini eggs, and it'd be nice if we could actually give India a little bit of something as well. What's that? We're bringing in some cat food. God, you'd love to see it. There we go. Because at the end of it, we would like to toast, of course, what is a fabulous ceremony and a fabulous occasion. Did you have a lot of guests at the original wedding?
Oh, well, there were only 5 because my friends think I'm batshit crazy.
OK, all right. Just apologies for the language, but I think, let's be honest, that's not the worst thing that's happened tonight. Right, so no, but seriously though, like, so they obviously, so just a few of them?
Yeah, just 5, yeah.
Just 5 plus, all right.
Yeah, it was lovely, it was intimate.
It was certainly
It was
very intimate.
It was wonderful.
And how old is India?
She's 5.
And in cat years, what's that?
Probably about 9 million, I don't know.
So it's all legal.
Egyptians, like, worship cats, didn't they? Like...
I've just had a cat food update, ladies and gentlemen. And you kept very quiet about this one, Deborah, but it turns out India ate the cat food before coming on the show, didn't she? I've got a feeling you knew that, didn't you, Deborah? And you certainly did. OK, good stuff.
She doesn't care.
No, we were a bit concerned. So what's the general backlash or otherwise been like? I mean, obviously, keep it clean, but to you marrying a cat in a park?
I have to say that 2 of my children think I'm absolutely SHIT crazy, and I just want to say to them, I'm standing for Prime Minister. I have got a political message behind this. Like, no, I really am. Listen to me.
Yeah.
The world is burning, right?
Yeah.
We're facing global climate change that's, you know, it's going to rock the world. Like, actually, 100% we need to action now.
Right.
And stop taking the piss.
OK, stop swearing, definitely. Yes,
sorry.
but,
listen to me.
OK.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. No, it's fine. I mean, this turns out this has all been obviously part of a wider eco-agenda, and I mean, we've all got egg on our face now, haven't we? But look, OK, I think it's time that we did a little bit of a ceremony. So thank you very much, everybody. Of course, we're all being gathered here today, haven't we? Gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the perfect matrimony between India. Well, I'm coming on to that. Don't worry. You don't want to get rid of that one too early. But yeah, I'm just calling now on all Persians here present to speak now, or forever hold your peace. If there is any reason whatsoever why anyone thinks that these two can't be united in holy catrimony, anyone know? No. Total silence. Good stuff. Well, fantastic. I think we have to have a nice little round of applause yet again, don't we, there? Good stuff. A renewal of the vows. And you look more in love than you did the first day you met, I think. Yes, indeed. All right, OK, well,
But
look...
it's not sexual.
No, it's definitely not sexual. Absolutely not, no. Gosh, this has been a weird show. All right, well, look, thank you very much, everybody. Everybody who's been tuning in, everybody who's been getting in touch. I would just like to apologise again, quickly, everyone. I'm sure that you're all OK.
Sorry about the swear.
It's OK, don't, just stop talking now. So I'd just like to apologise again if anyone was offended at home for a little bit of swearing, but... Look, we are where we are, right? OK, so we're going to get stuck into a bit of caterpillar cake. I think it's time for a quick toast, don't you? Just to say, there you go, you can have that one.
Yeah.
My wonderful panel, of course, joining us throughout the show. Lovely to have you both on the show. Thank you very much. And, of course, Deborah as well. And little India, there you go.
She's my wife now.
Yes, indeed. Don't think India's a fan of the wine. We're going to cut the caterpillar cake and all of this. But I do believe, you know, it wouldn't be, would it? It wouldn't be a bit of a ceremony without a little bit of confetti. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Congratulations, everybody. Yes. This really is the show. Friday Night Feast, everybody. This really is the show where absolutely anything can happen. I'll see you next week. The cat's run off. The cat's left it.
The cat's gone. The cat's
Hello again, I'm Aidan McGivern from the Met Office. Clear skies for many of us overnight will lead to a fine start to the weekend, particularly for England and Wales, whilst Scotland and Northern Ireland turn increasingly cloudy with outbreaks of rain. The rain arriving because of an area of low pressure which is pushing in from the northwest. That's going to nudge aside the high pressure that has dominated the weather through the last few days, but it holds on for the next 12 to 24 hours in many places, particularly across England and Wales, where there will be extensive clear spells overnight and a chilly feel for the start of the weekend, perhaps even a touch of frost in 1 or 2 spots. 2 Celsius there in Birmingham, 4 in Norwich, 3 in London, 7 though for Glasgow, Stornoway and Belfast, because in Western Scotland and Northern Ireland it turns cloudier through the night and outbreaks of rain soon turn up for the start of the bank holiday weekend. A damp day to come then, and that rain eventually reaching eastern and southern Scotland, spilling into Cumbria by mid-afternoon. But across the south of the UK, we keep the sunny spells, and it's a warmer day because of a change in wind direction. Certainly for the east coast we'll feel that, 16 to 18 Celsius in the east of England, but more like 13 for Glasgow and Belfast because of the outbreaks of rain. Those spells of rain push south on Saturday night, and with extensive cloud across the country, well, it's going to be a frost-free, even a mild night to come, with temperatures in some places staying up at 10 or 11 Celsius. But it's a grey and damp start to the day on Sunday. Outbreaks of rain for much of western England as well as Wales, pushing into the Midlands, East Anglia, the south of England, but avoiding the far southeast, I think, throughout much of the day. And it brightens up for Scotland, Northern Ireland, and eventually Northern England. Scattered showers break out here, but it will feel warmer at the same time. That bright but showery regime continues on Monday for many.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry,